We just finished building a shed this past week, and we have another one to build this upcoming week. So it would be smart, in one sense, if I use this day, a Saturday, to clean up, to get organized, to reorganize the tools, reorganize the truck, and just generally get prepared for the next shed build. But the main reason why that's not going to happen is because I just don't want to. Instead of doing all that, I just want to build, I want to deliver products, and I want to make money. I've got the time, I've got the energy, I've got the materials, I've got great weather, as you can see, and I've got 3 orders that I would like to knock out and deliver today, if possible. I just want to take advantage of the moment and make money while you can make it, or I think the expression is make hay while the sun is shining. I don't actually need these sheets that I'm taking off of the trailer. I need the 2x4s that are under them. Let's do it. The 3 orders that I would like to deliver today are storage racks for 27-gallon totes of different sizes. You may have seen me deliver these in previous videos. When I do deliveries like these, I like to deliver at least 3 at a time to make it worthwhile. And hopefully those 3 locations are more or less in the same area. Right here I'm cutting the pieces that the totes are going to slide on and then rest on. I used to make these out of full 2x4s, and then I started ripping 2x6s down the middle, and now I'm using a full 2x8 to get these pieces. So the board that I'm buying from the store is actually a 2x8 by 10, 120 inches, and that one board gives me 12 total rungs from each board. That generally takes my cost per rung down from, let's say, like $1.10, or it was, down to about 70 cents. And when you consider how many of these rungs go onto each rack, many dozens, that savings right there makes a considerable difference. So one of these racks that I'm delivering is a 4 high by 5 wide. So that's 20 totes. Each of those totes requires 2 rungs. So 40 total rungs on that rack alone. So if you do the math, the difference between the $1.10 and the 70 cents, 40 cents, 40 rungs, that's at least $15, $16 I save on just this one rack. Now, in order to get that cost per rung down to 70 cents, I have to buy like 24 of these 10-foot boards at a time. And sometimes that takes some creativity in the storage. You may not have enough room for all those boards, but if you can do it, it's definitely worth it and you save some money. Another important consumable you want to think about for these storage racks is screws. Obviously, these racks use quite a few. In my case, I use 8 screws for every tote. So one rack that is 4 high by 5 wide, that's 20 totes. Multiply that times 8, that's 160 screws on that one rack. So if you're just starting out and you're selling one rack here and there, you'll probably start off with the box that is $10, or maybe the $30 one. I think the $30 one holds like 400 or 500 screws. That's fine to start with. But if you go beyond that and you're selling these on a more regular basis, you'll probably want to bump it up to the bigger box that you see there on the table. That holds more than 1,800 screws. And currently it's about $105 at Home Depot. And if you really start ramping it up and you're selling these like crazy, you're going to want to buy 2 of those boxes at a time. And that takes your cost down from $105 to $84. So it makes a considerable difference. If you do it this way, you essentially cut your screw cost in half. So instead of, I already did the math, this is the kind of stuff I think about all the time. If it was more or less coming to 9 cents per screw when I was using those smaller boxes. And sometimes money is tight and I have to just buy a few at a time, but when I can, or when I have the credit, I'll go ahead and get the bigger box. So instead of paying 9 cents per screw, I'm more or less paying 4.5 cents per screw. And on this one rack, instead of it being $14 worth of screws, it's more or less 7. Again, just keeping my costs down. So I finally got everything built and loaded up onto the trailer. Only problem is that it was already past 5 o'clock. And 5 o'clock is not an ideal time to start a round of deliveries, but whatever, I was set and determined to get all three of these racks done and delivered this evening. I loaded up and brought my favorite little sidekick with me. He likes coming on these little deliveries. And this particular client, the first one, he got the 4 high by 5 wide, and I loaded it into his shed, and he was very happy with it. Abram drank a orange Fanta and a full red Gatorade at this stop, which would later come back to haunt us later in the trip. Next leg of the trip was over in the area called Siena on the southwest side. This particular client was getting a 5 high by 5 wide rack. Really cool guy, former baseball player. Abram found some bats in his garage and he was swinging them around like he always does when he finds baseball stuff. At this point, when we left, it was about 8 o'clock with an 8:30 ETA to the next location, which was in, well, they said Rosharon, but it came up as Arcola on the map. That area has always been confusing to me. So I just followed the GPS and it took us to where we needed to go. This client in Arcola requested a rack that is only 2 high by 4 wide. She asked for casters underneath it and then something on the top. I used a piece of Advantech, 3/4 of an inch thick. It's really a smart product because here you have a workbench that moves around. You have tote storage below it and it moves around. There's Abram. He found a glove and a ball, so he's having a great time while I was doing the work. And here we are at the end of the day. The trailer is empty. The orders are complete. Everybody's paid, and I'm happy. But here's the aftermath. The shop is a wreck. It's totally messy. Nothing got cleaned up. I'm not prepared for next week. But this was my choice to make. I don't regret it. I made some money. We will figure all this out. We will straighten everything up. And we will be ready for next week.